So Maria, I know where you are. You know, you teach focusing. And since this is something that we'll do with the Minister of Guyana and maybe with more countries in the Caribbean, why don't you tell us a little bit about how you teach focusing and how you utilize it, or a little bit about yourself as well.
Okay. So my name is Maria Hakasalo, and I live in Finland. And my background is actually that I'm master of pharmacy, master of science in pharmacy, and I used to work in pharmacy and hospital pharmacy, and then in a big pharma company before I actually left my career there, because I had this kind of inner invitation to do something different. And what happened, I actually started to paint, I started to write, and all of this actually surprised me a lot. And how it happened, it actually happened when I attended a group where our leader was introducing us to focusing, to whole body focusing. And during one of that kind of session or exercise, I actually felt everything so strongly in my body. And it was a huge experience for me. And when I went back home, I wanted to write it down so that I will never forget it. And so I did. I started to write okay, I was there then, and this happened, and so on. And I just felt that, oh no, this is not right at all. And what came was a poem. And then I just knew, or it actually opened this like creativity box in me, so that I was writing more and more and more, and then decided that I want to learn writing, creative writing, and I started to study creative writing, also painting, or this fine arts. And because focusing gave me such a huge experience, and actually somehow like changed my life, because I felt so much more alive, not so head spaced. Is it okay to say so?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Like being in your head. Yeah.
Yes. So I wanted it more, and then when I found out that it's possible to study focusing in Finland as well, so I attended some workshops, and then suddenly realized that, oh, I could combine. I could become a focusing teacher, and I could combine creativity and focusing together. And since then, I have been teaching focusing to groups, and then also I have had my one-to-one clients who with women who have been processing their own life, for example, after divorce, or if they have some other difficulties in their life. And then I also have, I already mentioned that I combine creativity and focusing, but I have had this small focusing and writing group, like writing from your body group. And we actually combine not only writing, but then also we go to art museums, for example, or and have this bodily way of looking not only like for writing, but then somehow like finding a wider understanding about our own lives as well, so that we can live the life that somehow resonates what we really sincerely are ourselves. And I call it as like finding the way back home, which I feel like it's within us, and we to find that way back home, for me it means like it's this beautiful connection with your body, but not only with your own body, but also with people around you, and then also to something bigger. And what is needed is this kind of safe environment, and so that you really feel safe. You feel safe to open to yourself, open to the others, and from there this journey can take you back to your home.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. You know, when you talk about safety, I think lately I've been coming up a lot reading about both the external importance of safety, but this internal safety that Jen Lin talks about. You know, do you want to say a little bit about that in terms of internal safety or external safety?
Yeah. About external, I would say, if so that it's something that you are accompanied by, or is it with a people or a person that is really not trying to bring you her ideas and push you to do something and so on, but really supporting your way of being and giving you this kind of like carrying you through, giving you an opportunity to be open to whatever happens in you, whatever comes. If it's something that feels so that you are maybe a little shameful of something, so it's okay, you can welcome that. It's totally okay. You can be open to any kind of feelings you have, and you know that this another person is not judging you. So then it helps me also to be with that kind of feelings, for example, so that if another person is not judging me, I feel like, because I might be the worst judgmental person towards something that is happening in me. I may have those very strong feelings that I am somehow wrong, or if I feel like this way, it's totally wrong, or so that's something, so that I can open to whatever, I can welcome anything that I have, anything that is happening in me in a beautiful, open and curious way. But that's one part of safety. But then another part of safety is that I can find the support even in a difficult situation, like support from the ground or from the stair, or like my body can sense that I am supported by something that will stay there, even though something might be a little shaking in me.
Right.
And also like, because also like finding that there might be this some part of me, something in me is very, very like not feeling okay or something, and then I can find that there is this part of me that it's okay. It's like carrying this another part of me so beautifully, and it's amazing, like noticing that I'm not only that place of place that feels, for example, scared. But there is something in me that is like an adult, or for this little one, for example. So I can find these different places in me that are, and yeah, maybe something like that. I don't know if that was helpful.
So something like where there are these internal places where if there a young part of you is feeling vulnerable, it can find comfort from another part of you.
Yes.
That's
And
something
also,
like that.
yeah, exactly. And for example, is it okay if I share something from my life from last week? Because I was diagnosed with breast cancer in March. I was in a surgery on April, and radiation started 1.5 weeks ago. So I know this during the couple of first radiation therapy appointments, when I was driving back home, I noticed something. I noticed that there was this very deep loneliness in me. Something was, and it was something that I couldn't even, when I came home and there was my husband, I was not able to share it with him, because it felt like this is a place where like nobody else has been, or something like that. I don't have even words to share how do I feel, because I just felt so lonely. And I have a little teary now. And then I actually had a focusing session with my friend. Then after 3 radiation sessions, and there first time I found some connection to my previous life. So that actually, because I was bullied at school, I was left out from the group, and I realized that, oh, this is the same loneliness I felt during my school years. And so then I was able to ask from this really lonely girl inside me that what would she need from me? How could I help her during the next, when I go the following day, when I go back to the radiation? And first thing was that tell to the nurse, like ask some help for that, so that this girl doesn't need to be alone like holding it for herself only. And because I didn't tell to anybody when I was a child, I didn't tell anybody, not even to my parents, that I was bullied. So I told to the nurse there, so that this is how I feel. I feel like at school, where I was so lonely, and she was really empathic, and she immediately said, like, we are going to look some help for you, so that you have some professional to discuss about this, and even that helped me so much. And then she told to the other nurses inside or who were helping or giving this radiation therapy. So everyone, all these three nurses, they were all so empathic, and I felt so like touched by that. And then the following day, it was easy for me, that time it felt really somehow like I felt so heard. I was not alone. But then when I went there back the following day, it happened. I already, when driving there, I started to feel the anxiety in me. And then I felt a little like shy to tell it again. But when I went there, there was another nurse that I hadn't seen before, and nobody had asked me before, how do I feel? But immediately when I went there, she asked me, how do you feel? And then I was able to say, I told her, so that I have realized that all this anxiety is relating to my school years, and so that I feel so lonely. I feel like because during the radiation, I have to look at a monitor saying that I have to hold my breath to inhale air so much so that it will mikä se on? It was in Finnish. So that I have lots of air to protect my heart, because radiation takes place in my left side of my, just around my heart. So I have to monitor all the time this, if I have enough air or if I have too much air or too little. So, and I said, like, it feels very difficult for me to follow it somehow. I didn't know why, what's happening in me, why it's so difficult to look at this little monitor to check and see all the time when I'm like holding my breath. Is there enough, and how long I have to do it, and so on. So I just asked her if it's okay that she could, because I feel so lonely. Can I hear your voice saying, okay, now it's okay, now you have the right level, and so on. And that was the way how she was helping me throughout, like, and the following, sorry, this is a long story now, but the following day when I went there, this anxiety came back again. But what happened then, because with focusing, I have learned to check those feelings. I'm able to go inside my body to see where do I feel that and what's there. So I found out something that was really helpful for me. I realized, like, when I am driving to hospital, my mind is somehow, I don't know if it's mind or whatever it is, but it's like, I felt like I was driving to my school. I was like this young child and girl who was walking to school every weekday and already feeling this anxiety, always feeling that anxiety. So that again, this kind of day when I cannot inhale, I exhale, I cannot breathe freely, but I have to all the time, I have to control or to monitor something, like what's happening somewhere, and is it, where can I be? Can I find someone with whom I can be so that I'm not so lonely? And so it was like during the breaks after, I don't know, what is this when this teaching time, and then after that,
like a little break, or
yes, break. Yeah. We had always this 15-minute break between those. So how was it for me? It was every time going outside and seeing if there is somebody, like checking and seeing if there's someone so that I could be with and somehow maybe breathe more easily. And it was not easy to find. So then again, when I went there, I have been now more brave to say about my feelings. So this time I said, okay, now I found why it has still been so difficult for me. And I shared this story about, and I said, like, is it okay so that if I don't have to look at this monitor at all, so that I can keep my eyes closed all the time, and you will let me know if I have enough air in my lungs. and so that and if there is not enough, so you can say, okay, breathe a little more, or inhale a little more, and so on. So now I feel so different. I know that I'm not going to my school. I'm going to take treatment to the disease to to heal me.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's how in my daily life it's really helpful.
So if I reflect this experience, what I'm hearing from you is you started out with having this experience of this past life, but this younger self of yours. And then gradually, being able to say something to the nurse, recognizing the loneliness first that you were feeling, saying something to the nurse, her saying she will refer you somewhere. And then as you continue treatment, it became looking at the monitor, looking outside for a companion, but then arriving at this place of, okay, I'm just going to close my eyes and receive these treatments and not look at the monitor.
Yes. yes. And really important to understand that what happened then in my life before, even though there was something what was happening now in the hospital in radiation, this being alone in that room, because nurses have to go to another room. They cannot be in the same room. So I am really alone there, but it's not the same kind of being alone than it was when I was at school. This is different. This is something to ensure that all this treatment I have been given and will be given, it will really make me cancer-free.
Right. Right. So just having a conversation with yourself that this is not the same loneliness, but there are people around, but this one is more medical, or it's going to make you cancer-free. It's a helpful kind of loneliness.
Helpful, yes. And they are not doing it to
ostracize you or keep you separate from them. It's because they're keeping you separate because it's for your care and their care.
Exactly. Yes.
It's almost as if they're holding you as opposed to separating you.
Yeah. And what I have found is that when I have been able to share my feelings and they have been listening to me, they have been open to my feelings, they have been open to help me during this process, and they are not judging me so that, oh, that's stupid, you shouldn't feel that way, or anything like that. Right. So it becomes it becomes like a healing process, not only for me at this age of what I am currently, but for this girl inside me as well.
Great.
Yeah.
This young girl inside of you is also being cared for. Right?
Yes. And what I have also noticed that because during the first couple of days, I was crying. There was this cry coming from some deep place of mine. But then also there was, and I think it was this young girl crying. But then what I also noticed that there was this adult woman crying in empathy for this young girl. And it was a beautiful experience because I could feel like, so there is this safety aspect again, how you can find this something like safety, so that you, when this lonely girl somehow could feel how me now see her situation.
How you, like you now,
Mm.
I hear this like, it's like a deep, like a really understanding. You know, you describe her as being this past life, this early experience, but I'm hearing you say that she's almost like here, very close to you now,
Yeah.
where you
Yeah.
can like comfort and be with her. Or it's not the same thing as before.
Yeah. She was like hidden inside of me for
Right.
years. And now during this cancer treatment period, somehow now I see it so beautiful. She found a way to be seen, to be heard, and to be taken care of.
And to be listened to, you
And
know?
yes.
Right. We're able to hear her.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And as a focusing teacher, this is something I want to give to my clients as well. This kind of experience, like listening and reflecting, being very like supporting this kind of gentle way of being with whatever emerges, so that you don't need to run away, but you find this place of safe place of being with this anxiety or whatever it is.
But you keep it company, or as you say, come home to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you. And I would like to say something still, like what is also helping me is using like drawing or painting or dancing, or because for what I have found also that, for example, music. So I have this connection with, or some music piece or something, I like listen it again and again, because I sense that there is something that helps me, and or if I don't always find words, but there is something in me and I don't know what it is. It may be so that I take some like paints or something, so some colors, for example, I sense like, oh, for some reason this color, like it's like inviting me to take it and start drawing or something. So or then writing, for example. So different kind of ways how we can really find a deeper connection within something. Yeah.
Like these artistic ways of either moving or drawing, singing, right?
Yeah.
It gets you in touch with a little bit of that.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Great.
Thank you for listening, Kathy.
Thank you for sharing. You know, in your experience, and as long as you have been doing focusing, is there anyone who focusing is not for? Is there in any scenario that you think that this doesn't work, or this is not for this person? Or
first of all, because focusing is for some it's like a natural skill, so they already, or how to say, like it's a way to, how would I say, okay, let's say it this way. What I have learned is, especially here in Western country, for example in Finland, people are very head spaced somehow, like it's something that is valued so much, so that you should be very clever and use your brain and so on. And what I have noticed is that for people who are trusting so much on their knowledge, like this headspace or mind-space knowledge, so it may be very different to find this connection with their body. But then it's not impossible to learn, because also I have this experience from some of my friends and some of my customers, so that when something happens in their life and they notice that there is no way out from some troubles, for example, then in their lives, so then they start to be open to this bodily felt, like the focusing way of being. And so I would say that it's something that you should never like force anybody to do focusing. Instead, wait for the person to be somehow ready for it. But there are many who, so that it's something that is for everybody, and it's something that all of us actually somehow have in our body, but we have maybe lost the connection with this part of us.
Right.
Yeah, and for some it's maybe much more difficult to find, like, reconnect ourselves.
Can I share with you what's occurring to me as you share that? I think, as you say that, this is how it is, headspace, like let's use your brain and let's think, automatically I think of the body sort of like this system of neurons, veins, like it's a whole body knowing of something.
Yes.
And yet we put so much emphasis on the intellect, and that we don't often listen with our bodies, with things that comes up here, and the importance of doing that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then there are those people who, and maybe cultures as well, where this connection, this whole bodily connection is so natural.
Right.
And still I would say, it's so natural that it's really but also what I have found out also here in Finland, that there are people like that. So but then it's really fascinating when then helping them to with the focusing way somehow, or like reflecting, and then when there is this one-to-one experience, so that both are having this strong bodily connection. So then this magic somehow it happens. Like really beautifully.
Yeah. I think, as I hear you talk about this, I think the one thing that, as you said, wait for someone to come to focusing. What I'm hearing is the one thing that is probably most important is to have a curiosity in focusing, to see what comes there, to move out of that headspace, to move into the body, and a playfulness and a creativity with what comes there. I think in our focusing sessions, there's so many metaphors that come up and so many imageries that come up.
This can be so funny.
It can be very funny. and really enjoyable
Mm.
to sort of give voice to that implicit or the
Mm.
felt sense of what something is, but just
Mm.
having the curiosity to be fun and
Exactly.
playful.
Yeah. 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 This playfulness is something that fascinates me, because uh, because these images can be that somehow come from this bodily felt sense. Some image comes to you like, which sounds so crazy, but then when you are curious about, okay, this is interesting. So it really makes sense. There's something new, some kind of new point of view to look at this thing, or something opens and or gives you the next step to go forward. Or so it's really it's really fascinating.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, and I would like also to say that, because so that it's like with some of my clients who have been very determined in their life, and trusted on their capability to live a perfect life, for example. So when they are ready for this bodily way of being, or they become curious about it. So it may take months for them to find, because they have this demanding voice in themselves that is not easily letting them to be in their body. But what I have found out is that it's so beautiful when having this kind of how to say, like being able to guide my customers, so that first just to find connection with something in your body, starting to sense something, and just being with that place.
Right.
So that there is no hurry for anything new to happen, or like something amazing to happen, so that you just learn to be with something, like sitting next to something in you that you can bodily feel.
Yeah.
And so it's so beautiful when seeing how this process
yeah. I think a perfect example sometimes is during focusing. Sometimes you might say nothing comes there, or maybe you don't feel anything. Maybe there are no images. And the question that comes up is, how can you be with that sense of nothingness?
Exactly.
Space, and just
Yes.
noticing of sitting next to something that's empty.
Yes.
And how is it for you to keep that company? And that's the language of just, how can I keep you company in that space internally? What's there?
Exactly. Yes. Yeah.
Great. Thank you. Is there anything else that you would like to share or discuss in terms of being a teacher and a practitioner of focusing?
Yes. So what I have learned in my like how it has affected me is that because I come from my childhood, I was living in an environment that was very black and white. There was we and then there were us, and then there were the others, and of course we were all the time right. They all the others were wrong for whatever reasons, but they were wrong if they didn't belong to this us. And what focusing, learning focusing, and yeah, teaching also, but learning it by myself also. But then also like when teaching, and then when teaching different kind of people. So, and learning that actually, how to say, it's not a division of us and you, and so that there is no connection between these two groups. Instead of that separation, I have learned how there is this, how beautiful how I can learn and how we can learn from people that are so different than I am, how I can keep this, I have had this curious mind towards different kind of religion, for example, or whatever, so that I don't immediately need to be very like, and this is danger or something like that, because I have this safety, and I can also teach this kind of safety for other people, so that you have this open mind, and you can find your way of being in this world. And this another person, you can trust that this another person, she or he will find the right way of living for him or herself.
Right.
And when we all are in some kind of harmony, or find this harmony or this kind of connection, what this true self of us is. So actually, then actually we all will live much more beautiful and peaceful and loving life.
Right. Yeah.
Deep sigh.
How is it for you to say that? How is it for you to come to that?
It is very it's some kind of what I say, like deep sigh. For me, it's very often when I first of all, it's like searching the right words, and it's like sensing that there is something important, and I don't quite yet know what it is. So when I start to find the words, I actually can sense it in my body when I have found the right word.
Yeah.
Or something like that. And when I then, like, just what happened, this deep sigh came from me. It's like, yeah, this is the way how it is.
It's like you found the right word, and it was like, yeah, you can express it and let it go.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's like capability. It's like I have much more air and like opening to something, something much more space inside me.
Yeah, and letting go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like freedom. Yeah, great. Thank you. I don't feel that I have any more questions right now. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't feel like having any more words.
So that's all felt senses that maybe for now this is okay.
Yeah. Only thing what I can notice is a color, and the color is yellow. And again, this deep sigh. It's, I don't know if it's something that comes from, maybe when you mentioned beginning about Caribbean countries.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like this kind of like yellow, like sun, and this warmth of sun or something. Yeah.
And something just comes for you right there.
Yes, and somehow it actually, what it also includes is like I don't know if it is that way, but I think it is like this how to say, this kind of warm and vibrant, I don't know if it's the right word in English, but yellow. I feel like there is a lot of joy, and somehow I combine it so that with Caribbean, so that a lot of joy.
So this, for you, the Caribbean comes with a lot of joy and this color yellow together.
Yes, and it's like it's a warming joyfulness, something like that.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. I would think a lot of people would agree with you.
I would love to visit someday. I have never been to any Caribbean countries.
Great. Good.
Only what I have seen on TV.
Well, I'm sure that we would love to have you anytime.
Oh, it would be lovely.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mm.